Good evening, students. The next thing which we are going to deal with the respiratory system pathology for BSc Nursing second year student. Chapter respiratory system is tumors of lungs. First one is what are the tumors of lungs? Tumors is exactly equal to cancer only, which will lead to cancer, but not exactly cancer, but it may lead to the cancer. So the tumors of lungs can be the number of benign and malignant tumor occur in the lungs, and rate of metastasis means the spread of the disease from one organ to the other. From lung tumor is most common. Primary lung tumor is also termed as bronchogenic carcinoma. 95% of all primary lung tumor and is bronchial as well as bronchiolar origin, means the number of benign and malignant tumor can occur in lungs based on the metastasis rate. Primary lung tumor, also termed as bronchogenic carcinoma, is 90% of all lung tumors comes under this only, and is of bronchial as well as bronchiolar origin, and it arises from bronchial and bronchiolar origin. The etiopathogenesis or causes can be smoking, pollution, occupation, diet, and genetic factors. Smokers are 10 times at higher risk of developing lung cancer than non-smokers, because carcinogens present in the smoke are polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, nitrosamines, hence tumors promotes like phenyl derivatives. Then pollution like industrial areas and petrochemical industries prone to develop the lung cancer. Then occupation exposure like asbestosis, nickel, beryllium, arsenic, metallic iron will cause the problem. Then diet deficient in vitamin A can also cause a risk of developing lung cancer. Then genetic factors. The lung cancer is 2.5 times more prevalent in people whose close relatives once presented with disease condition. Means 2.5 times have the chances if the person has this disease in their family. Classification of lung cancer. The lung cancer are classified as histopathological classification of lung cancer according to WHO are epithelial tumor, which can be benign, dysplasia and carcinoma in situ, and malignant lung cancer. Then soft tissue tumors and pleural tumors. In the benign and dysplasia and carcinoma in situ, there is no description of the things, but in malignant lung cancer, which are further classified in the 5 sections, are squamous cell carcinoma, small cell carcinoma, adenocarcinoma, large cell carcinoma, and adenosquamous carcinoma. Then there are some other tumors, soft tissue tumor like fibroma, fibrosarcoma, leiomyoma, lipoma, chondroma, lymphangioma. Then pleural tumors, then miscellaneous tumors like carcinosarcoma, pulmonary blastoma, malignant lymphoma. Let's see in detail. Benign is not malignant. It may not lead to cancer, but it may lead to tumor formation. Non-cancer in origin. Then dysplasia and carcinoma in situ. Carcinoma in situ, we have seen inside the intracellular spaces the cancer growing cells are deposited. They may not be that much cancerous, but if they are not treated well, then it may cause the inside the cell carcinoma. Dysplasia. Then malignant lung cancer, squamous cell carcinoma is the most common type, which arises long bronchus, mainly seen in case of smokers. Type of tumor lead to massive necrosis, cavitations of the involved bronchus. This spread is more rapid in case than other tumors and show biphasic pattern of growth due to presence of squamous cell carcinoma and spindle cell carcinoma. Then small cell carcinoma, they are highly malignant tumors which are central or hilar in origin, normally found in bronchial epithelium, and they are associated with ectopic hormone production because of presence of nucleosecretory granules in majority of tumor cells. So small cell carcinoma are highly malignant and central or hilar in origin, normally found in bronchial epithelium. Squamous cell will involve the bronchus. Then adenocarcinoma is most common present in women or non-smokers and known as peripheral carcinoma, and may be associated with old fibrous scars of lung. And the other two are large cell carcinoma and adenosquamous carcinoma. Large cell carcinoma is seen mainly in case of smokers and high malignant tumors. These are undifferentiated carcinoma in which the cells have large nuclei, prominent nucleoli, abundant cytoplasm, and well-defined cell bodies. And adenosquamous carcinoma, there are type of peripheral scar carcinoma having both keratinization and glandular differentiation. Soft tissue tumors will be fibroma, fibrosarcoma, leiomyoma, lipoma, chondroma, lymphangioma. And now see how the spread of tumors takes place. We will take local spread, lymphatic spread, and hematogenous through the blood. So how it occurs through local spread? Tumors can invade through the walls of the bronchus and can spread to the opposite bronchus and lungs into the pleural cavity, pericardium, myocardium, and can also invade the great vessels of heart, brachial plexus, and sympathetic chain. The myocardium, pericardium, these are the layers of the heart only. Lymphatic spread can involve the hilar lymph nodes, through which metastasis can occur to mediastinal, cervix, supraclavicular lymph nodes. Then hematogenous spread via bloodstream tumor cells can spread to organs like liver, adrenals, bones, pancreas, brain, and kidneys. Then pathological changes we have to see. The most common site for occurrence of bronchogenic carcinoma is hilar region or the peripheries of the lungs. Grossly, the hilar region is having. In this type, the tumor appears as a small rounded area on bronchial mucosa at the bifurcation and can involve two main bronchus or its segmental branches. Here we are seeing the pathological changes. Hilar region is mainly the affected area. The tumor appears here, the small rounded and on bronchial mucosa at the bifurcation is divided into two parts, equal parts. They bifurcate and can involve the main bronchus or its segmental branches. Bronchus can be involved or its segmental bronchus can be involved. Then as the tumor grows, it thickens the bronchial mucosa passing the ulcerated surface. So mucosa will be thickened, tumor will grow, then bronchial mucosa will produce in thick amount and ulcers will be produced. Then cut surface appears yellowish. If we cut it in cross section, then they appear yellowish white with the area of necrosis and hemorrhage, which produces cavity lesions or honeycomb lungs. So when they are cut, they are showing white area due to necrosis and hemorrhage. They are excessive loss of blood. So it will produce cavitary lesions, which from that looks like as honeycomb lung. Then tumors soon spread within the lungs by direct extension or lymphatic and distant sites by lymphatic or hematogenous route. Means they will spread very fast by direct extension or through by lymphatics to the distant sites by lymphatic or hematogenous route. And then peripheral type is the first one was the hilar type, the second one is the peripheral type. Here the tumors arise. Peripheral bronchioles are the tumor may be present in the form of single nodule or multiple nodule will be there, and cut surface of the tumor appears grayish mucoid. Here you can see the diagram. The hilar region is here. Microscopically, the pathological changes in lung cancer is illustrated here. So Here we have seen the hilar and the peripheral region. What happens? White patches will be occurring, but in the microscopic layer we are seeing there will be formation of the walls. Clinical manifestation will be similar like others. Hoarseness of voice, dyspnea, hemoptysis, chest pain related to local infiltration of pulmonary membrane, cough with expectoration, fever, weight loss, weakness, anorexia, then paraneoplastic syndrome. This one is other new term, paraneoplastic syndrome. Small cell carcinomas are often associated with ectopic hormone production, which leads to bone and joint pain from cartilage erosion due to abnormal production of growth hormone. Hypercalcemia related to abnormal production of parathormone, then antidiuretic hormone inducing hypernatremia, adrenocorticotropic hormone producing Cushing syndrome, calcitonin producing hypocalcemia, gonadotropin causing gynecomastia. These all are the clinical manifestations. Then diagnostic methods can be chest X-ray, sputum cytology, CT scan of the chest, bronchoscopy, needle lung biopsy and bone scan, bone marrow biopsy, CT scan of brain and abdomen reveal the metastasis. So here metastasis there, so bone scan, bone marrow biopsy and CT scan can also be needed. Up to here we have discussed. Now the whole chapter is finished. So in the next class we will discuss the next chapter. So thank you class.